Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Monday Night Must See TV with the Hudson Valley Squares. We've got everybody here but Chris Sallow tonight. We hope to see Chris next week, but Nick Franco's here 2 weeks in a row. Gotta love that, right?
Yay!
Gotta love it.
So we have welcome Sydney Taylor, Lynn Versace, Steve Keeler, Nick Franco, Ryan Scow, Butch Jones, and you know who I am. So tonight's topic is I've asked everybody to kind of take a look at the bands and music that they like and pull out 3 to 5 front men or front women who we kind of really know them for their voice, but you know what? They're also maybe a really good guitar player or a really good bass player or a kick-ass keyboard player or drummer. So those front men or women who also play a pretty mean instrument, whatever that might be. So what we're going to do here tonight, we're going to go, Mr. Scow's going to go first. And then I'll make up the list as we go along. And everybody's going to go through all their picks and have plenty of time to talk about them, and we'll comment in between everybody. So Ryan, who's your choices for tonight?
All right. So when you mentioned this, and this is just personal opinion, I thought of this, I really frame this as like a live concert deal, because obviously in the studio, you're always going to record vocals and whatever instrument separate for the most part. You still have to kick ass on whatever instrument, it is in vocals. So you can't slack, but I really thought of this as like a live situation, where you see someone and they have a commanding presence, which is a little tougher if you're like shackled to an instrument or a drum kit. So I kind of approached it from that vantage point. So I'll start off with the famous one first. There was an old George Carlin bit years ago where he said, things you never hear anybody say. I think like one of them was, Dad, you really should drink more, like stuff like that. So something that no human being has ever said ever is, I listen to Slayer for the bass guitar, but I don't give a fuck because Tom Araya was a solid bassist, obviously very iconic, great frontman for Slayer album here. So my first choice is Tom Araya. Obviously Slayer was Dave Lombardo, amazing drummer, and the guitarists, Jeff Hanneman, Kerry King, who really like that's what everybody remembers about Slayer. But Tom, his front presence like is a frontman all throughout their whole career. He was just iconic. All the little lines he shot out between songs, like he was really commanding the stage, and he couldn't move. He was pretty much tied to the microphone, bass guitar, and he still, didn't lose anything from it. So not really a phenomenal, not what most people would consider like a phenomenal bassist. There's a whole line of, I'm sure some will get mentioned here, of like great bass players, vocalists that are just like really iconic from men or women. So I'm just kind of like, I'll roll the dice. There's so many good ones to pick from. But my first one was Tom Araya from fucking Slayer. All right, so my second choice, also bass player, also a vocalist, a little less famous, but band I've seen several times. My favorite Japanese band of all time, formed in 1982. Guy's name is Masaki Tachi. His stage name is Giesel, and he fronts the Japanese thrash band Sabat. Not to be confused with the English band Sabat, but this is the Japanese one. This is their album, The Dwelling, I think from 1994. And they're like, they started in 82.
Beautiful album.
So they're like in the same.
I must say, gorgeous album.
Oh, yeah. This is they play in this is a good shot of it. They always play in like little leather bikinis. So every time I saw them, they're a crazy, but yeah, I gotta hold that up. They're
No,
Linda,
the
wild.
cross.
No.
Oi, Maron.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's The Dwelling was this album. Yeah, they always played in little leather bikinis. Every time I'd see them, they were fucking wild. So like you're up against the stage, got beer in hand, thrashing out, and this Japanese band's in front of you, fucking going crazy, playing in these little leather bikinis and nothing else. So that's just an image. Just you can Google it, YouTube it, easy enough. There's plenty of live footage. I've seen them saw them in Texas. I saw them in Canada. I've seen them in Germany. Saw them in New York a couple times. They played some great shows at little clubs. They played Webster Hall once. It's fucking wild. So again, not good bass player. But really, for me, it's like an iconic frontman, just gets up there very commanding for the stage, just great high energy music. It's kind of like old Venom, some of the more like dirty old thrash metal from that day, but yeah. Second choice is Sabat from Japan.
So Ryan, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
So which band was first, the Japanese band or the English band?
The Japanese band by a couple years, I think.
But
I think how do they spell it though?
Spelled the same. It's the Sabbath without the H. But yeah, they formed in either 81 or 82. They didn't put out an album for almost a decade, so that kind of torpedoed them a little bit, where they might have gotten more fame. But they were right up there with like Venom and Bathory, Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, Merciful Fate, like the first bands to play like that kind of metal. But I think their first album was like 89 or 90, like many years later.
Okay.
My third choice, one of my favorite American bands, also I've seen many times. Actually, a very good guitar player, great vocalist, great frontman. Going to be Mark the Shark Shelton from Manila Road, from Wichita, Kansas. I know me and Pete did a show about these guys not too long ago, our favorite albums. But Mark was a phenomenal guitar player. Never really got a lot of credit for that, among a lot of the American heavy metal bands. Obviously, Queensryche gets a big bump. But a lot of the other ones, I don't know, some of them kind of like stayed under the radar. And, these guys, the records were on very tiny labels back then. So they kind of stayed under the radar too. But Mark was just a great frontman. In the later years, they got another guy to do vocals to kind of share the vocals with Mark so we could concentrate more on guitar playing. But just a phenomenal fucking guitar player. Great stage presence, the friendliest guy in the world. The last time I saw them, I was leaving, it was Dingbats in New Jersey. And I'm not a big guy to meet bands. I know some people like really kind of meet the bands, but I'm like, I go to see the band, have a couple beers. If I meet them, I don't meet them, doesn't matter to me. But we're leaving the club, we're walking around Dingbats, tiny little bar in Clifton, New Jersey, and Mark's just sitting there hanging out, smoking a joint. I'm like, well, fuck, I got to get a picture with him. He's right there. There's nobody else around. So I went up, got a picture with him. And unfortunately, a couple months later, he passed away. So that was the last time I saw them. Yeah, it was just total, blind luck fortune. But out of the 10 or 11 times I saw him, that was the only time I met him. And that was fucking cool. But yeah, so my third choice is Mark the Shark from Manila fucking Road. Then I'm going with switching up a little bit from Texas. And this is a rare drummer vocalist combination. And this is tough because how do you command the stage from behind the drum kit? That's not an easy thing to do. You can't move. The crowd can't even really see you for the most part. So to kind of develop this personality, people have done it, but they kind of develop like a personality where you're very recognizable while being stuck behind the kit. It's tough. So I'm going with Russ Gibbons, aka Proscriptor, from the Texas black metal band Absu. And this guy's kind of like, I'm going to say like for black metal, he's like the Neil Peart of black metal drummers. Like he's absolutely just off the scales, fucking amazing drummer. Not like very typical black metal where it's just all like constant repetitive beats. He mixes it up, does all kinds of great shit. But he also sings at the same time, has a little headset he's on, manages to sing while he's playing these fucking crazy black metal songs. And this is their 2001 album, Terra, which also has, I don't know, probably the craziest drumming he's ever done. Like it's just absolute whirlwind the whole time. And he sings the whole time too, which to me is mind blowing because they kind of coordinate playing drums and singing, even like simple beats. I'm not a drummer, but that seems like it would be like kind of like rub your stomach, pat your head deal to like play these insane songs and play, sing the whole time. I don't know. That seems like almost impossible, but he does it. And towards the end of the set, sometimes when they were still around, they broke up a couple of years ago. He'd trade off. Another guy would get behind the kit. He'd come out front and just do vocals for like the last 2 or 3 songs, just to kind of like mix it up a little bit. But great band, fucking amazing. This is their 2001 album, Terra. And my last choice, going down under to Australia, a guitarist and vocalist of one of my favorite bands ever is Keith from Destroyer 666.
Waiting for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably the only band that to me, as far as like live performances, like them and Iron Maiden, my favorite bands to see live. Just Nick unfortunately has had the honor of standing next to me when they play. I think I pummeled the shit out of him. I apologize. I think I got a headlock for half the set, didn't want to let go. But yeah, they're fucking phenomenal. He's a great front man, great guitar player, wrote most of their songs, so a great songwriter. Very, again, commanding the stage, even though you can't really move around a lot. But yeah, I figured you got, Pete, you figured I was going to mention him. So I'm going with Keith, and this is their 2002 EP, Terror Abraxas, or 2003, one of those two. But yep, fucking great band, great vocalist, great guitar player. And those are my picks. Oh, and I got one honorable mention. It's a twofer. I just grabbed this off the shelf. This is a little band from Long Island. This is a I have to pick two guys here: Buck Dharma and Eric Bloom, guitar players and vocalists from Blue Oyster Cult. How can you not mention it? I say Nick and myself. If I can actually get, I'm going to try to show a picture here. Speaking of Blue Oyster Cult, yesterday we actually went over in Westchester County, New York, and we visited a little church. And you might recognize the church on the cover of "On Your Feet or on Your Knees." Let's see if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there
That
we went
weird guy in front of it.
Yeah, it's like an hour away. So there I am holding the album right in this little church. So we were like, you know what? That's so close. Fuck it. Let's go over for a visit. So we took a little day trip, went over there.
Ryan,
What town?
Ryan, who took that picture? Because that's a really good picture.
Some guy, no name Nick, you know.
Okay.
Nick was there too. You guys didn't have the original hearse to reenact the photo.
No, we discussed that. We didn't have the hearse. But,
That's so cool. I saw you guys on social media with that yesterday. I thought that was very cool.
What town in Westchester was that in?
Lewisboro. It's in a very, very, very rich area of Westchester. Like you drive around and like I think every house we saw was like 2 million and up. You know, you could just tell from that neighborhood. But
Now, did you go there specifically to see that, or did you just kind of?
Well, we actually made a trip out of it. We went down on the first part of the day. We went to Lyndhurst, New Jersey, and we visited Joey Ramone's grave, which was cool. And then, because that wasn't that far, it's like an hour from us, from where we live in New York. And then we're like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go see that church, because that's like an hour away. So we made a little day trip out of it, and it looks the same as on the album cover, like with the wood paneling. It doesn't look a day older. So
I had no idea that was in New York State. That
yeah, but they're a New York band.
That's where the band is from, you know. But yeah,
they're a New York band.
Beautiful.
So you know, my friend Craig pointed it out. He's like, it's not far away. We should go see that church. So off we went. Yeah, it was very cool. It was like a misty day. You know, perfect weather for that. You know, it's got a very cool graveyard across the road where most of the gravestones are well over a century old. So it was a good day.
I knew that it was in New York, but I didn't know what town it was in. And it's funny that you say the name, and we've lived here, like at least myself, I lived here my whole life. I've never heard of that town. So that it just tells you that it's absolutely a rich town, because I've
But
never
you know Pound Ridge?
Yeah,
Ever heard
yeah,
of Pound Ridge?
course.
It's like right around Pound Ridge.
it's like Wappinger Falls in New Hamburg.
Oh yes. No.
Yeah, there was nothing around there. It was just
Lot
like
richer.
winding country roads, big mansions, and then around this one corner is like this little church, and that's it. You know, there's nothing else around it,
Mhm.
and it looks the same as the fucking cover, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful
It was
place.
like 75, I think that album came out, 75, 76 or something. So it's been a
I think it
couple
was
of decades.
74, 75. It was-
yeah, they got it earlier. Yeah.
So that was cool. Yeah, cool little trip. So yeah, my honorable mention going with Buck and Eric from Blue Oyster Cult, one of the best bands of all time, in my opinion. So
Good man. Good man.
Good. Sydney Taylor, what you got for us,
Cool.
Sydney?
Awesome. So, I mean, these aren't in, I guess, like great order, because I know that before we got on this, you said we were all going through one pick. So I was like, this saves me from having to go in a crazy ranking order. But I do have 5. I do have 5. I think my top, I guess my top 3 are in order, but the last 2 probably aren't. The first one I'm going to go with is for my first pick. I'm going to go with at this point, I guess not even really a new artist, since the band, he's been around since the early 90s, but the bands that I'm going to be talking about, I guess, in like the mid to late 90s. But I'm going to go with Dave Grohl, who plays guitar. I mean, of course, he plays drums, but he's most known for when he's being a frontman, of course, you know, playing the guitar in the Foo Fighters. And I mean, I really love the Foo Fighters. I'm not sure about the rest of you all here. We haven't really talked too much about them here, but I grew up, you know, listening to the Foo Fighters, and my, you know, parents are big fans. And so naturally, again, one of those bands that I kind of listened to and became attuned to when I was, you know, growing up and everything. So I love Dave Grohl too. He's also just one of like the nicest guys, I feel like, in the modern day rock scene. And he's always really, you know, paying attention to newer rock and everything that's in this scene. So I love Dave Grohl, and I think he's extremely talented, just in all facets, as a guitarist and drummer and instrumentalist. And he's insane. I mean, he was in Nirvana, so it's crazy. So Dave Grohl is going to be my my number 5 pick. My number 4 pick, I'm going to be going with somebody who is mostly known for his guitar playing, but is also a really fantastic singer, and that is Stevie Ray Vaughan, who I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. Funny story about Stevie that's hilarious to me is that when I was auditioning for college, I was going for music business, and I was actually auditioning for a school that they made you like audition on an instrument, and they gave you like 3 choices of songs that you had to play to audition. And one of them was Eruption, so that wasn't happening. The other one was Cliffs of Dover, that wasn't happening. And then the third one was Scuttlebutton by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I was like, "There's no way that Stevie Ray Vaughan is the easiest thing on this
What
list."
school is this?
What was this?
It was the College of St. Rose in Albany.
Didn't want anyone to get in, did they?
I guess not, right? It's not like here you play Satisfaction, right? Like, you know.
It was hilarious, but I ended up doing Stevie Ray Vaughan, Scuttlebutton, and the funniest thing was I was so nervous for this audition, and I went in and I played the song, and I mean, I didn't do great, right? I mean, I kind of butchered that shit, but the funny thing was that they were like, "Are you trying to play this note for note?" And I was like, "I'm trying." And they were like, "Yeah, you were never doing that." They literally looked at me in the audition. They were like, "You were never playing this note for note." And I was like, "That's fair enough." But he's a great, vocalist on top of being, one of the greatest guitar players that has ever walked the earth. And it's a shame that he's not still with us, but he had to make my list because I love his music. It's a little bit different than I think some people who watch probably peg me as listening to, but I really do love Stevie, and he is my number 4. My number 3, I'm going to be going with Glenn Hughes, who, I mean, come on, I know everybody on this panel loves Glenn Hughes. All of you guys do. And I mean, he is, I know a lot of the times pegged as being sometimes a bass player, but he vocally is just, I think, probably shines more to me as a vocalist than a bass player. And I mean, I saw him back in 2018, and I was completely blown away of how he sounds like it's still 1973. Like it's actually like scary. It's a little bit eerie. Like I want to know what he's like taking, like this like anti-aging like thing like that he has, or it's still 1973. He's just absolutely insane, and he's one of the, again, like I was talking about Dave Grohl, just one of the nicest guys, and I think just so unbelievably talented. Yeah, again, I mean, he's just extremely talented. So he's going to be my number 3. My number 2, I'm going to be going with, this is weird to do this all in one shot. I'm like, I keep thinking it's on to the next person. My number 2, I'm going to be going with Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, which I got to be honest, I've always been a Megadeth over Metallica kind of girl, in my opinion. I love Metallica, but I love Megadeth so much more. And I think that Dave Mustaine is just incredible on guitar. And I mean, his voice to me is such an identifiable, of course, part of that band and part of those albums and everything. But, guitar playing wise, from even in his time when he was in Metallica to, being in Megadeth and everything like that, he's just insane. So he had to be on my list. He was really close to being my number 1, but I had to put the next person as number 1 because to me, there's nobody who represents rock and roll more than this person, and that is Lemmy from Motorhead. Of course, I know I probably stole at least somebody's picks in this. My apologies.
I couldn't believe that Ryan didn't pick him. I was waiting for Ryan to do it.
I thought so too. Yeah,
I left him off my list because I knew Ryan was coming.
Everybody would. I thought I had something
I know
most
who
obvious.
Butch's is going to be. I have like 2 out of the top 3 for Butch, but yeah, I had to put Lemmy, man. When I think of vocalists and somebody who is just, like I said, that like represents to me like everything that rock and roll is about, it's Lemmy. Like he's just it. And I'm not sure if you guys saw, but he just did this thing where he sent, before he died, it was his wishes to have all of his ashes sent out in bullets to his closest friends. Yeah. And a lot of those people just received, the bullets with like Lemmy's ashes. And it was just kind of like a lot of like, Ricky Rackman posted about it. He was one of them. and to some other people too. And it's just, you know, even 5 years, it's been 5 years since he passed away, and he's just so missed, and so talented. And, you know, even though he wasn't the most vocally, you know, God, what's the word?
Gifted.
Yes, he wasn't the most vocally, you know, gifted when it came to technique and being the best, you know, operatic rock singer. You know, he embodied the feeling of what it, you know, that feeling that's in the music, and it is in Motorhead's discography. And
This
being
is
a
in
rock
your
fan,
front, man. He was the best. Yep.
he's
Really
the best,
was.
and it doesn't even fucking matter what his voice sounded like or any of that shit. You know, he could go head to head with any rock vocalist when it came to, you know, persona and stage presence, and, you know, just embodying rock and roll. So he had to be my number one. I love Lemmy. I miss him. And yeah, that's my 5. It was kind of all over the place, but
Sydney, it's funny you mentioned that, because I actually only found out yesterday about that. I mean, I'm a huge fucking Motorhead fan. I only found out yesterday about that thing with the bullets, because when we were at Joey Ramone's grave, I'm like, man, I'd love to go see. Obviously, there's like the thing of Lemmy in the Rainbow in LA that Keaton from Hyrax helped organize after Lemmy passed. But I'm like, I'd like to see his grave too.
yeah.
My friend's like, I don't think there is a grave. I think when he was
there is.
There is.
I think that they might have given some of, who knows, I'm not sending shit out, but I think they might have done some of his ashes.
Mhm.
But if they got rid of all of them from the site, then I guess they did. But I think there still is.
There's
He's in like a mausoleum in Forest Lawn, like right across the lawn from where Dio is, but it's just his ashes. So I saw that when I went to LA, but I mean, I don't know if they took it out or anything for doing this, but I know that there is something there that's like a memoriam.
The bullets thing, I mean, that's fucking awesome. That is
Classic.
I never knew about that until yesterday. I'm like, that is fucking awesome. I just found out what it was.
But Brian, it just came out last week. It
Really?
just came out about it last week. We didn't miss much.
Oh, okay. I thought I was all this time. I'm like, I thought I loved Motorhead. Nobody told me.
Well, it's funny because Ricky Rackman was like, he's like, I'm gonna make it into a necklace, and I was like, please be careful with that. Like, please be careful with that. Please don't lose that. I like made an Instagram live about it. I was like, oh my god, like, be careful. But yeah,
He'll
I mean,
ruin that. He'll
Yeah.
ruin that like he ruined Headbangers Ball.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm shutting my mouth now because I have a career to do.
No, it probably wasn't his call, to be honest. I'm sure he didn't
wasn't
have
his
any
fault.
choice in what he had to play. But I just felt like being
I had just found out the Motorhead Lemmy bullets too. Rob Flynn from Machine Head had gotten one too. I know that.
So it just came out. Okay. I thought I was stupid because it was mentioned yesterday. I'm like, well,
I
nobody
didn't know. I mean, it's been 5 years, and
Isn't
now
he?
all of a sudden, that's kind of
You
posthumous.
see that?
Yeah.
I have my original cat house card from Ricky Rackman.
Nice.
Man.
nice.
My favorite part about Ricky Rackman is that the Decline of Western Civilization Part 2 documentary.
Mhm.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's the best.
I've been
You
hearing
see it.
I've been hearing a lot about Ricky Rackman lately.
Oh, wow.
First time in decades, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
yeah,
little-
he's coming back with
whole
with
year.
another thing at Headbangers Ball, just called The Ball,
Oh.
but it's not like Headbangers Ball. Well, it's gonna be
Oh.
like Headbangers Ball. It's just not called that. It's called The Ball.
Is
So
it going to be on a television channel or is it a streaming or what is
I
it?
know it's being promoted through Knotfest.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure where it's gonna be, but he's gonna be playing older videos, newer videos,
Oh, cool.
you know, thrash videos, glam videos, all that type of stuff. So I mean, at this point, I'll take anything. So
Good,
I
good.
gladly welcome that.
If you're wondering, my card expired August 1st, 1988.
I knew that, bro.
A little while
I didn't
ago.
know it.
You should get that renewed, you know.
Yeah.
Our center
know.
square tonight is Mr. Rock Fantasy himself. So, Steve, what do you got for us?
Yeah, just to mention about the Ricky Rackmans, and I know Elliot from Little Punk People. I just watched an interview with him with that, and I think they were talking about the bullet there.
Yeah,
Well,
that's where I saw him. I saw that.
Maybe
Elliot
he's
had.
promoting
Okay.
something. You haven't heard his name in many years, and all of a sudden I hear a lot about him. So
Yeah.
something's going on. Oh, what do I got? A whole list here. I guess I'll have to pick a number 5. Sydney picked one of my picks for Dave Mustaine. Ryan Scow picked one of my picks for Tom Araya, so that's why we make some extra ones. Number 5, I'm going with a tie of 2 guys in the same band. Paul Stanley plays guitar and sings pretty good, I thought, and Gene Simmons plays bass. I mean, two of the most iconic folks that pick up the, you know, the instruments and do some vocals. So I'd say those are my number 5. Nothing's in really any order here today. I just pick things out, and I'm trying to go through a couple different all the different genres from classics to extreme stuff. So number 4, I'm going with vocalist guitarist Aishan from Emperor, and also, you know, from his self-titled solo project.
Good choice.
He can sing all different types of stuff. He can do the black metal, you know, he can do, you know, very mellow stuff at the same time. I just think he's a very talented artist. Number 3, I'm all across the board here. Rest in peace. I'm going with Chuck Schuldner, from the vocalist and guitarist from the band Death. I thought he deserved to be mentioned tonight. I kind of threw this together, and of course, Chuck, one of the legends in the business. I always liked his style, and his vocals weren't for everybody, but it's a style that I thought were very unique, and great guitar player also. Going on to number 2, I'm going to pick a man named Michael Ackerfeld, from the guitarist and vocalist of Opeth. And I'm sure Pete probably had him on his list, maybe. Did I steal one from you?
That's okay. I came prepared just in case anybody stole my picks. I have plenty of them.
Number 1, I'm going with one of my favorite bands. He's a bass player. His name is Geddy Lee. He's from Rush.
Good choice.
And
I knew you were gonna pick that.
Don't start with the dog licking and stuff. It's gonna.
I didn't even notice it. Oh,
No,
man.
Steve, it'd be nice.
You know what? That dog can clean your ears of the COVID virus if you need it.
You don't know that. You don't know that, Steve.
Well, some kind of virus it'll clean up. So and I guess some honorable mentions. I guess since I can have a couple, I would go with Frank Marino from Canada of Mahogany Rush.
Yes, sir.
Good.
I will mention who else do I have on my list? Grutel, Kelson, bassist and vocalist of Enslaved.
Good choice.
And Ross Dolan, Immolation, vocalist and bass player from the death metal legends. And I think he's very unique. And my last, I'm going to mention Abbott. I've got a shirt on tonight. So
There you go.
from Solo and Immortal, and another guy that kind of emulates Lemmy at times, even though he's from a black metal band. He has the Motorhead tribute band and his style on stage. And I mean, there's a million guys you could list on
I
that.
saw them, Steve. I saw Abbott's Lemmy band. You know what? If you closed your eyes, you couldn't fucking tell. He sounded just like him. It was
You
crazy.
saw it.
Bombers.
You were
Yeah,
at
they say
St.
that-
Vitus,
They
right?
played St. Vitus just once, but yeah, he sounded so much like Lemmy. It was almost weird. It was kind of bizarre.
Yeah, he's definitely can, carry that torch. And, it's a few guys that can, but of course with the partying too with Abbott. Hopefully he's toned that down a little bit now.
Oh yeah.
It's funny, in my view on the Zoom, it's like I'm expecting Ryan's dog just to kind of lean down and grab Nick's hat and start licking the top of his head.
Oh, Nick knows this dog don't like nobody else. Just me.
That
No.
dog is so cute though. Oh. Aw.
It's an ear washer.
Yeah, she is.
That
Yeah,
night when
body wash for me.
that night when someone was trying, I think Rich was trying to give his picks that week, Rich Catino, and then all of a sudden Sydney started looking at the dog, and I was
You
looking
wanted
at
to come in
Sydney.
the
And
room, sorry.
we all lost it. It was just
My favorite comments from last week's video were, or the 2 weeks ago, whatever it was yeah, like them, everybody laughing at me, laughing at, like that was like the comment, and I was like, man, I'm sorry, I kind of distracted everybody with that one.
Too funny.
Oh, I guess I got one more note to make on my picks. I did pick Gene and Paul, and this week I bought a record collection from the former manager that managed Kiss, Peter and Al, and Peter and Ace, and I've actually got Gene Simmons speakers hooked up in here. He had bought the speakers from Gene when he moved out of his New York City apartment. I hooked them up today, and they sound amazing. So this is
Wow.
my
Oh,
new
cool.
folklore that I've got Gene Simmons. Former speakers before Gene Simmons owned these speakers. Jim Steinman owned them before that. So
Wow.
his name was George Sewitt, and he was moving to Florida. He's in his early 70s. He worked with Sinatra, Zeppelin, Kiss, Whitney Houston, Culture Club, Rufus. The list goes on. He was a really great guy, and these speakers sound great. I just hooked them up about an hour ago.
Wow. Did you get a
Nice.
nice record collection too?
I got a lot of Kiss stuff, and if anybody needs any Peter Criss CDs, I've got a whole bunch right now. Peter Criss and Ace Frehley CDs, I have a few boxes of. The Peter Criss ones we looked up seem like they're a little kind of rare, so I'm gonna have to put some of those up on Discogs or something.
There you
Blah,
go.
blah, blah. And I got a lot of sealed Kiss records from like Revenge and Creatures of the Night picture discs and stuff like that, which look like they're worth some money on Discogs, as they're starting to look at collection.
I don't sell those.
I think you have someone from Philly who's kind of hinting.
Want to give me some of those sealed Kiss records? I will take them off your hands. Thank you.
Well, we'll have to see what kind of prices we're gonna work them out.
Oh, Steve, wheeling and dealing. Wheeling and dealing.
I think I helped suggest. Did you get your Dawkins shirt in the mail yet?
I did. I'm gonna wear it
cool.
next week. And his name's Jerry. He sent me a
Nice.
whole bunch of like CDs and like it was
Cool.
so cool. It was so nice. I was like, wow, that was so unexpected. But I'm gonna rep it next week because I promised him I'm gonna wear it, of course. So next week.
If anybody wants to send any of us gifts, I think we'll all gladly welcome them. So I like old blacklight posters. You got any old Dio or Judas Priest ones? I'll gladly accept any of those. And Sydney needs some old concert shirts if you weren't there for the original run. And I don't know, anybody else can make their wish list, I guess.
If anybody has
Anybody
any Romanian folk metal or any Hungarian fiddle black metal,
Ooh, but I'm not selling it to you, you bum.
I think if anybody's got any old like Thin Lizzy tour programs from the 70s, I think a guy with the red Stratocaster over there probably would be
He
interested.
might want one.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Gary Jr. says, yes, we'll take that.
Miss Lynn.
I'll take money, diamonds, a Fendi bag, a Versace purse.
Lynn's birthday is coming up, everybody, just so you know.
Just saying. I'll take as many gifts as you want to see. I'm kidding. I really don't care about material. Yeah, because I own fucking Fendi bags, Dick. And listen, this is coming from the fucking guy who wouldn't even let me come over tonight and do the show. So fuck you.
There's a pandemic out there.
and no one even asked me to not come over.
Fucking pandemic.
I didn't know you were
School
going to be
of
on, Nick. I would have sent her to your house.
And I would have gladly went to Nick's house. At least he's nice to me.
You would be welcome.
One of these days,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna need you guys to get up mid-show, like
And
at the
go to each other's house?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I
please.
want to see the transition from you being in one window to the next. I need
Yeah.
to see that happen.
I
It would
could
be funny.
probably, by car, I could get to Butch's house in about 25 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go like a minute. Walk.
Nick, I'm coming to your house next week and we're going to infiltrate. That's it.
All right.
Infiltrate.
I won't be here. but-
No, we are. Well, whenever you're back.
All right.
Hey, look,
got-
I already crumpled up your I Love Len thing. You made me mad 2 weeks ago, so that's gone. So I don't even have that to show anymore.
Whatever. You don't even love me because if you loved me, you would have let me fucking come over, but you didn't.
I love bourbon.
Yeah.
Loves bourbon more, Lynn. Uh-oh.
No
Bourbon
shit.
and the Oilers.
The Oilers are on right now. Hurry up.
What do you got, Lynn?
No.
What's your picks?
All right,
thought-
my picks. So my number 5 or whatever you want to call it is Prince
Oh,
because I fucking love Prince and
Good.
Prince is amazing and I don't give a shit. I know it's a metal show, but he's the epitome of everything freaking rock and roll, R&B, Latin, soul. He's got a crazy vocal range. He plays guitar, keyboards, pianos, bass, drums. He plays all of it. So Prince is my number 5. I think he's
Play
just,
marimbas?
he's amazing. He plays my fucking rumpus when he was alive. That's what he played.
saucy.
Anyway, but then we won't talk about that. Yes, the Glockenspiel. I love the Glockenspiel.
Who doesn't?
All right, so that was my number 4. My number, no, it was my number 5. My number 4 is Dave Meniketti, Y&T,
Yeah.
because you know what? I love Dave. I love his voice. He plays great guitar. He's a nice guy, super guy. Every time he comes to the club, he hangs out with us, and I just love him. So, and I love Y&T. I feel like his vocals are underrated.
Mhm.
Underrated. But they shouldn't be because I think he's really great. My number 3 is Rick Emmett from Triumph. Canadian born and bred. He's
Yeah.
rock, prog rock, metal. 1953, the guy was born. It's ridiculous. He plays guitar, synthesizer, piano, bass guitar. He writes poetry. He actually, in 2005, won the Canadian Award for Smooth Jazz Guitarist of the Year, which I think is pretty cool. And he was awesome. I met him at Daryl's house about, I think, 2 years ago when he played, and he was fucking incredible. Just an amazing show.
Triumph is so underrated. They really are.
Oh my God.
Triumph is just
Oh my
like,
God. And he's ridiculously talented. Like, he writes poetry, he plays jazz. Like, the guy is he's just unbelievable. He's just great. So again, I have Tommy Shaw from Styx, because I love me some Tommy Shaw. And again, I was their runner at the Civic Center, and taking selfies with him and stuff. He was a great guy, but he plays guitar, keyboards, mandolin. He was now Alabama Music Hall of Fame in 2008. And I've been singing Crystal Ball all fucking day because I was listening to them, but Tommy Shaw's awesome. So he's
I have something to add to you for Tommy Shaw, if you love Tommy Shaw so much. You just mentioned the Alabama Hall of Fame.
Alabama.
You know what other Hall of Fame he's in?
Alabama.
He's in the White Castle Hall of Fame.
Get out. For what?
swear to
Eating too
God.
many White Castles?
He is in a White Castle
such
Hall
thing.
of Fame.
Did he eat a lot of White
I
Castles?
swear on Wayne Gretzky.
Ooh. Well, then it must be
That's
true.
What does that mean though? Like, what does that mean?
They have a Hall of Fame, White Castle. I don't know what the requirements are, how many you have to eat or whatever, but I read and heard the interview with him that he got inducted into the White Castle Hall of Fame.
Tommy's so thin, he looks like he needs to eat some White Castle.
Exactly.
Oh, but he's so cute.
Oh, he's him. I love Tommy Shaw.
He has not
He
aged.
was on my list. I'm gonna have to pick someone else now, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Well, my number one, I have a twofer for my number one. One of my favorite bass players ever, because Sir Paul McCartney from the Beatles.
There you go.
And he was self-taught. How fucking awesome is that? And John Lennon, of course, right? I mean, I kind of can't pick one without the other, but he plays bass, guitar, keyboards. He plays all three. He's got a tenor range, 4-octave tenor range. And again, John Lennon's just great. He plays, and those were my number one. And I couldn't kind of do them justice. I couldn't pick one without the other.
I can.
Well, I don't give a fuck. It's not about you.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Here we
Well,
go.
It's not. It's clearly not
Sorry
the
now.
Butcher Shop or the Butch Jones show or a friend that would let a friend come over show.
Oh shit.
So
Mic drop.
Lynn,
go scratch your nose.
I just looked up the
I have
White
a
Castle
comment.
Hall of Fame.
I have a statement to make.
Yes.
Hey, what happened?
I looked up the White Castle Hall of Fame, so it doesn't tell you how to get into it, but it says the most honored member of the White Castle Hall of Fame, and I shit you not, is Alice Cooper.
Oh my
This is
God.
good friend.
How bad?
I shit you not.
Sydney's like, I'm going to White Castle.
That's
Good
badass.
White Castle.
I think I
That
have,
is
now that you mentioned
badass.
that, I think I have seen like pictures of him at White Castle before. Like, I think I've seen, I
That's
wish I had
pretty
a better
badass.
answer to that question or like why,
That's
but
pretty badass.
Steve got a comment. What do you got, Steve?
Yeah. Today I got a call from my employee at work, and I had a fan of this show drove from Philadelphia to Rock Fantasy to check out the store and go to EQ. And he mentioned, and then I talked to him on the phone, wanted to talk to me, explained the reason why I wasn't there today. And he said, I really give you kudos because you're the only one that doesn't use the F word on the show.
All right.
right.
Well,
Good
I'm
for
not
fucking
done
you.
with my fucking honorable mentions. How about
Oh,
that?
yeah,
Tell
Good
him
for
that.
fucking
Okay.
you.
Steve's a fucking champion. That's right.
what's the word?
I said all my F words last week when I was
I
going.
wasn't expecting to hear that. I was expecting to hear like, what's your
All right.
favorite?
Can I say my honorable mentions now?
Hurry up.
Fucking A.
more.
All right.
know.
So it's Richie Kotzen, Glenn Hughes, Melissa Etheridge, Joan Jett, Elvis, and Chris Cornell.
There you go.
Elvis?
Steve, I must be
Yes,
right behind you.
Elvis. I
don't
like
curse too
Elvis.
much
What
on
do you
the
got
show.
against Elvis?
That he really didn't play guitar.
Yes, he really did.
He stood there with the guitar on.
He played the fucking guitar, Dick.
He
You
didn't
weren't
play-
there.
I'm sorry.
You think
I'm
Hard,
sorry.
Dick.
Good,
You
I'm
think he's
sorry.
like, you think the king of rock and roll is like Janet Gears?
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, let's see who Butch picked.
No, I'm sorry. We interrupted Pete. Shut up. Let Pete talk.
No, I was just commenting on Steve's story before. I said because I think Steve and I probably cursed the least of anybody here. The two oldest guys, unfortunately. But no,
That's why,
boy.
because you're fucking old.
we are.
Wow, that's
Hey.
another potty mouth. Time out. We gotta
I
have
don't
that-
know. It's to me like I mean I curse sometimes on here, but to me I'm like it's just a word, man. It's just
Yeah,
a
it
word.
is.
I'd like to know what kind of grown adult has a problem with profanity.
You.
You'd be surprised.
It works as a noun, a verb, it's an adjective. It works for everything. You
You'd
can
be
put it in any
surprised.
place, and it just like emphasizes what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just a word.
That was a
You
great.
know what it is?
fucking concert.
We're not a PG show. We never have been. That's
No, we're not.
And we never will be.
Since when is
The rate we're going.
since when is
As
Brock
long as
been
Lynn's
PG?
on here, Lynn swears the most, and as long as she's on the show, it'll never be okay
Never.
for a lot.
And not for nothing, but if you're offended by that, you should hear some other shit that comes out of my mouth. I'll make a damn grown man blush.
I'm
So-
sorry to the
Sorry,
listener,
not sorry.
the listener that drove up to Middletown, and I brought this up. I forgot your name already, but
That's a good story.
everyone's swearing even worse. I'm trying to make it better for you.
Just chill
a good
out.
fucking
Don't
story.
take it so seriously. If you're watching this, just don't take it so
I mean,
seriously.
you just never know what's going to happen. I mean, shit. Lynn was talking about Massengill commercials the other day on one of the other shows. I mean, God.
Well,
Just
well,
take
I
it
was.
easy. It's all good. Sometimes the effort
I can
pops
show you
up.
the text threads.
Don't do that. We'll go to jail. Some of the shit you and I talk about, I don't even think it's legal.
Yeah, I don't want to know what you guys talk about.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I don't.
And it's not even like drugs or anything like that.
No.
But no, you don't.
Nick Franco, what kind of profanity do you have for us here?
Well, let me tell you.
Let me fucking tell you here.
I said all the F's last week, man, because I was feeling a little, I was getting into my cups a little bit or whatever you want to say.
I will say before you continue, I will say, and I believe it was last week's show.
Yeah.
Steve, you had a couple beers last week, right?
I did.
You actually let go a couple F-bombs late in the show last week for
You
the,
did.
the first time ever.
Shut your
I
mouth.
did for the first time. What was someone yelling at me, or I just?
No, you were just whatever you were talking about. Yeah.
Feeling no pain.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I was
Let's
using-
send
Oh,
him
yeah,
more
Wendy was
alcohol.
There you go.
I was using that word like, I don't know.
You know, it needs to be used sometime, but I figure we're on a show, and I try to keep it.
Nick, you were cursing like it was like a period at the end of a sentence. I like it.
Yeah, I was in Iron Maiden land. I was like, effing this, and then they're going to effing
yeah.
say that. Yeah.
It's all good. It's
That's all.
okay, Nick.
We're just having fun here, guys. This is how we would talk if we were all in the same room together. So
Exactly.
It's like sitting around the campfire. That's what I talk about the shows. Yeah.
yeah.
Sitting around the campfire, sitting around a bar, talking about your favorite bands. We'll probably talk for an hour and a half, 2
I won't
hours.
be at the campfire, but I'll be at the bar.
Both.
You don't like going to campfires, have a few drinks?
I've never been, ever.
Oh, you need to try.
I have Butch, I have a fire ring in the backyard.
Fire
So
pit?
when it's
Oh, it's nice too.
a
That
little
fire.
bit warmer, we'll do like a fire ring night and play.
See, that I can do. I can do that.
Have
Yeah,
16 bottles of bourbon on hand.
So Butch has never been to a fire pit, and Lynn has never had
No, 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 no. I've been to a fire pit. I haven't been out camping. You say
And I've
camp?
never done what?
Okay.
Cheesesteak.
I was gonna say you had to have a fire pit.
What have I never done?
He had a
cheesesteak.
cheesesteak.
You told us one.
No, I
You
did
never
not
had
have
a
a cheesesteak.
You stick around a fire pit.
Let's combine those two, cheesesteaks
And
and
bourbon.
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 And she hasn't had that either. So
Cheesesteaks and
profanity.
fires and bourbon. Oh my.
And profanity.
And heavy metal, man.
Put on your old gray bonnet with the blue.
all right, Nick,
Good Saturday night.
what are your picks for today?
Well, this is the first time that everybody picked my picks. Every
Oh.
single one.
We're getting close to it on mine. So we
Yeah,
still,
and it's all right. That's why.
Oh, Pete, I'm gonna ruin yours.
I know you are. I'm gonna have nothing left. I have,
Yeah, you
I
guys
have
will have
15
similar.
picks today. I had 15. I said, there's no way in hell that all my 15 picks are gonna get picked. I don't have
That's
many
why
left.
I intentionally didn't pick Lemmy because I thought about that. I'm like, I'll leave Lemmy for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I had Geddy Lee, I had Lemmy, I had KK from Destroyer, I had Dave Mustaine because if he did nothing else but Rust in Peace, it would still be the greatest thing.
Yeah.
I love and the way he plays his guitar on that and sings.
Yeah.
And Ishan Vegard Feitan, the singer of
That one
Emperor,
from you.
without a doubt. Yeah, but I have backups. I know I talk about him a lot on this show, but I have to put Devin Townsend up there.
Great choice. Yes.
Oh, I love him so much. His playing is so emotive, and his voice is so emotive, and
Fucking vocals, amazing.
full of rage. It could be, he can do every mood and play every mood on the guitar. So I love him.
And you know what? And Nick,
Yeah.
he did a record where he was just a singer.
Yes. Yeah, he can do exactly. He can do. Oh,
Yep.
he can do both without a
He's a
doubt.
Canadian.
Yeah. Vancouver. And then let's see. I'd have to say that I got to put Kim McAuliffe in there from Girls School. I love her.
Nice.
She was going to be an honorable mention, but you know what? I've had Girls School as honorable mention before. I want to put up. I think she's like, she embodied everything that rock and roll meant. And I watch more and more Girls School videos, and I love her. And I know that if I was a young lad in England in the 70s, I would have been in love with her because she's just amazing.
Young lad. I love that.
Yeah.
Or
a young lad.
a young lad in the States, like me. I don't understand.
But and then I got to go with I wore the shirt for Solofald. I have not mentioned these guys, I don't think, because
Who the fuck is that?
it's a Norwegian band that I think, Butch, you would definitely find something in. They're not one of these like fire burning off the wall.
I can read it. I already know I like him.
I
Yeah,
like it. It's
that's one of
red.
their records there. Solofald. And the gentleman I'm speaking about is named Lars Nedlund, and you and I just talked about him. He plays keyboards and piano in Borknagar,
Yep.
and has just a beautiful, beautiful, amazing voice. And he just did a hard rock album called White Void, where he sings. And I think fans of the show, and you guys certainly, I think would really dig it. It's really good, and 'cause his voice is excellent. So, and he's also
Send it over.
Borknagar that we love.
Yeah, Lynn, you would like some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Red. I love it already.
And Ryan, I didn't know this, but Lars Nedlund played drums on Black Shining Leather, the Carpathian
Forest.
like
I did not know that.
punk black metal, So I got to go with some Lars Nedlund. And like Keeler, I didn't really put these in any real order because it's all over the place. But I want to give a shout out here. I really, really love Clara Soderberg from First Aid Kit, the Swedish duo of sisters. You can look them up. They've played everything from Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, and she can sing Black Sabbath. They've covered War Pigs. And she just has one of the clearest, nicest voices. She plays guitar while she sings. So Clara Soderberg, especially as an up-and-coming younger artist, has to get a nod. And I mean, I don't know, man. I got a few down here. It'd be from my life and with vocalists and guitarists, I gotta say like Roger Waters. He's just
Shit, I don't even think of him.
yeah, Roger. I know Roger has just meant so much to me, and my formative teenage angsty years. Because like it's funny. I went to high school in the early '90s, and Pink Floyd and Zeppelin that enjoyed, I think, like a real resurgence. Jimi Hendrix, like all the kids in high school in like the very early '90s were like jumping onto that stuff, and it was very popular. And I stole all the Pink Floyd albums from my brother, and man, I'd have to say Roger Waters, his voice, and David Gilmour too. Comfortably Numb, just that song alone, with their voices and guitar. So I would say those people. My honorable mentions are going to be just a plethora of people that you guys will never have heard of. But,
As expected.
there's a Dutch woman named Hannah Vandenberg who goes by the stage name Obscura, and she plays in the black metal band Ostagram. She plays lead guitar with the corpse paint on it.
How do you spell that?
Oscar the Grouch? What?
Ostagram, Asagraum. But you probably really appreciate the music, but I don't know that you would get into the howling, death-possessed screams that she has. I don't know.
Okay.
But you probably appreciate
Is
it.
she hot? He might.
She's hot, but
Well, then he might like her screaming.
yeah, but she's really good. I watched her perform in a small club and with the band, and I was right in front of her, and there's no faking that, man. Just the lead guitar, the skill to be able to do that and to carry on that singing is not easy. So
No faking.
Yep, I would say her. And another honorable mention, I have to go to my hat. I wear this every week.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's called Shooter. Shooter.
Spell it?
And
Sugar? What?
Shooter. TSJUDER.
What?
It starts with a
Yes,
T and a
Jay.
J.
How do you get
They're from
sugar?
Norway.
That's what you need to know. C and a J.
Yes, Jay?
TSJ is Shooter.
Or
I
T S.
don't know.
Yeah. And his
That
name is
doesn't
Jan
sound
Eric.
right.
His name is Jan Eric Romeron. Probably not saying it right, but that dude plays some he's like, I'm not gonna say he's the Lemmy of black metal because that's presumptuous,
They are
but
a pretty good band.
yeah, they're like a 3-piece, and he has like this
They're freaking
real
nasty.
fucking
They're
meaty
nasty.
sound, and his
Great
vocals
stuff.
are, man, he just sounds like he's possessed by the devil. So I gotta go
He
shout
might be.
out to my black metal. So that's probably a good composite of my list, and of course Chelsea Wolfe, the enchanting goth.
Waiting for that.
Yeah, Chelsea, she plays guitar very well and she can sing anything. So she's nice and dark and gothic and talented as hell. So
Nick, a question for you. How often do you get stopped and asked, what does that say on your hat, and get the same reaction that Butch just gave you?
I need to see that
anytime.
again.
People don't even ask me anymore. They don't even ask. I could literally just scribble something like on a hat and be like, yeah, man, come on. It's that band from France.
Judah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't.
Judah.
I'll never change,
Can I just say that I love when Nick is on, because I look forward to him being on and me being able to fuck with him with this.
Oh, yeah.
What
I
does
love
it say?
it, man. Because I know. I'm like in this little corner of music that a certain amount of people like.
And you know what? And honestly, I'm just teasing you because I
Yeah.
know that you're right. There's a lot of that stuff. I might not like the vocals, but the music is great, and I
Yeah.
can definitely get into that. So I'm really just messing with you
Oh, absolutely.
because I absolutely cannot read the logo.
I know. That's why I wore this one. It's a little more.
I like because you're old.
Oh,
It can be
Oh,
grandma.
there we go. Yeah. The fighting starting again.
oh yeah, Keeler, brutal as well. He's right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
slave.
Brutal. Brutal.
Look
good
at
to
what you have.
I had a lot of black metal guys on my list, but we can only hear about 2 or 3 of them a day.
To have.
So
I'm
before
just trying to make Glenn
goes-
laugh right now, guys, and it's working.
She's so red.
But on your old gray bonnet with the blue, but I'm just doing Bugs Bunny stuff to Lynn right now to make her die. Because this is what we do. This is what our texts are at 1 o'clock in the morning, texting each other just a random little quote. Look at I win.
This is good actually, because she did this to me last weekend when we did a show. She had
Good.
bitches. I couldn't even carry on. I was like, what in the world?
Well, there was a reason.
That was because of the adjustment thing.
That was a blooper. That was a blooper moment.
I've never been
Christ.
that speechless ever in 7 years of doing this program.
Oh boy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You hang out with me, you're fucking speechless.
I was.
Hence the reason 90% of my friends are men. The women
Oh,
can't
geez.
handle it. Only Sydney, she's the only one.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's my turn.
It's your
You
turn.
guys wanna-
Before you go,
Yes.
I just pulled 3 more from my list, and I have a feeling you're still gonna fuck me up majorly. So I think I
I was
have
gonna
enough to do 5 now. I think. I'm hoping.
I was gonna say you
I have
guys
like
want to
3
make my
others on my
picks
list
for
that I
me?
know you're gonna do. So go for it.
Shit.
Well,
I can't.
so number 5, spoke about him over the weekend with Pete on a different show, is Michael Sweet from Striper. Michael Sweet we've become good buddies, and
Safe.
I love his. I think he is the modern day metal riff master. He gets no credit. He gets chastised. He gets beaten up for the Christian thing. I don't care. Listen to his riffs. He writes phenomenal riffs, and he's been doing this since 1983. And he's a phenomenal vocalist. To me, he sounds like. I always joked and thought that Styx should have gone after him to replace Dennis DeYoung, because to me, he sounds
Ooh.
exactly like Dennis DeYoung from Styx. So he's got a great voice. He
Whoa.
hasn't lost his voice over all these years, and he's still writing great stuff. So I love Michael Sweet.
Only
And he's
Franco-
super nice every time we hang out with him at the club.
And he is a sweetheart of a guy, and he's a bourbon lover. So we're supposed to get together and do some bourboning. So that'll be very fun. Number 4, Sydney, Glenn Hughes. Again, if you've been following this thing, you knew he was coming on my thing because I love me some Glenn Hughes from Trapeze, phenomenal, to Purple, phenomenal. All his, I mean, even with Sabbath, even though you shouldn't have called it Sabbath, should have called it Tony Iommi. But he was phenomenal in it, and his 95 solo records that he's got are phenomenal. And then into Dead Daisies. Listen, the guy should have been dead in the 80s. How he's not dead is one thing. All the drugs, he never lost his fucking, and here he comes, Steve, here's the fucking thing. He never lost his fucking voice. All the ups and downs the guy's had in his career, just physically, the guy, like Sydney has alluded to before, he sounds like 1974 on Deep Purple Burn.
Yeah.
The guy does not lose anything. He is phenomenal.
You know what's got to be the secret to that?
All about the spot of tea
Cocaine.
in England.
It's
the
because he
English
basically
tea.
didn't sing throughout the entire 80s decade because he was so busy
Okay.
doing coke, so he saved his voice. And then
That- that is a good
he got
point.
clean. Now it's like it's 1979 all over again.
It worked out for him.
Works for me.
Yeah,
You guys
exactly.
are thinking
Hughes
drugs.
Thrall
I
record,
was
gotta
thinking
mention
the
that.
tea.
So before someone says he didn't say Hughes Thrall, so pass it all. Absolutely. Number 3. Would you guys like to say who number 3 is?
I'm afraid.
I have
John
no idea.
Sykes. Come on. Of course, you
I
probably
was
think
not
he's
here to
number
say,
one.
where is he?
He's not number
Would have
1.
been a
though.
perfect time to.
Listen,
Hmm.
no one knew the guy sang, which is why to me it is a huge thing. No one realized that the guy could sing. He starts Blue Murder and he's singing, and you're like, John Sykes sings? And he sings like that? And then you go back and listen to the 1987 record and you're like, oh, well, now I can hear his voice with Coverdale all over everything. And he's doing all his playing. And anyone that has heard the Blue Murder record or owns it or whatever, that's an intricate record. And if you were lucky enough to see him in '89 with that original trio, for him to sing and play it all at the same time, whatever. You can do your milk carton shit, whatever you want to fucking do. John Sykes fucking rules.
Your milk
But
carton.
always rules.
Fucker.
And you know what? When I get him out of retirement and his record finally comes out, you're all gonna say, oh, fucking Butch, he fucking did it. You'll see. Right.
That's all
Sounds
you
good
do.
though.
I hope you have the- I
We'll
hope you
be
have the-
sure to bring our fucking walkers to the show.
Yeah, exactly. You and me both. Number 2, obviously, is it's got to be Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy.
Um,
Oh, that's number 2.
unfortunately-
I thought that was number 1.
Yeah.
No,
I thought somebody else was
number
going to
1 is number 1.
I
Holy
know.
shit.
Phil-
Who his number 1 is.
Yeah, exactly. I know you know who number 1 is.
I think I
I'm
might
gonna
know
take him
too.
off my list now. I know.
Phil was the man. I never got to see him. I've talked to people that have seen him and said that he was, and people that were in the band with him saying that he was the ultimate front man. I've seen video, the songs he wrote, the lyrics that he wrote. Phil was the man. And being the black guy in a band fronting them in the 70s when all the racial stuff is going on, unbelievable. So obviously for me, Phil probably should be number 1, but he is not. Number 1 is my favorite singer of all fucking time,
I know it.
because there is nobody I've ever heard that talked to a live audience by singing to them or singing at them. Steve Marriott from Humble Pie.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
If I could, man, I would have loved to have been able to see that guy. 5'2" with a voice that did not need a microphone in front of him. If any of you guys have ever heard any of the Humble Pie live stuff, there was a lot of stuff out there where you can tell, you can hear that he's nowhere near the mic and he's scatting, singing, talking to the audience. Marriott was the man, not really telling jokes, but being comical while he was doing it. That voice was just ginormous. Man, Steve Marriott, without a doubt for me, is the guy. He was a great guitar player, wrote the songs. I mean, he always had, kind of like a Dave Mustaine of a modern era, he had a better guitar player to do the bulk of the leads, but he did leads and did riffs and wrote the songs. Marriott was the total package, man. He was the guy that set the whole British blue-eyed soul thing in motion in the late 60s. He's the guy that Robert Plant and Paul Rogers and even Ozzy talked about him, that they all wanted to be Steve Marriott. And then he's playing guitar too. Without a doubt, Marriott's my guy, man. Just beyond killer. So
Keeler.
honorable mentions. Yep, Dave Medichetti, without a doubt. So I'm glad, Lynn, that you put him in your actual list. Geddy Lee, without a doubt, because he did more things at the same time than anybody's ever done. And then one guy that I love to death, and I'm not surprised that no one said him, but I know a bunch of you guys are going to love him, is Dan Beeler from Exciter. Talking about a drummer that sang. Those first 3-4 Exciter records, man, are fucking awesome. Violence and Force, Heavy Metal Man. Me and Joe Guerreri, I can remember to this day going to Record World in the Duchess Mall in Fishkill, New York, and we were both looking at albums to buy. And it's like, you buy this one and I'll buy this one. And he bought Exciter's Heavy Metal Maniac. And we had no idea what was on it. We just bought it because of the cover. Because in the 80s, that's what you did. You saw a cool cover. I don't know what it sounds like, but that cover is badass. And we went home, and then you're looking, and you flip the album over, and you're like, wait a minute. The drummer sings? And he's just howling like a banshee. Oh my God, Dan Beeler was so fucking cool, especially
He's
for that.
great live too. His live like presence behind the drum is amazing.
And you know what, Ryan? I've never seen Exciter.
Really?
Oh,
Yes.
They reunited with the original trio, and I saw them 4 times. I got very lucky. In
I
like
know
the
they played
span
in
of
Brooklyn,
9
right?
months, I saw them 4 times.
Did they play at St. Vitus?
Canada.
No, yeah, it was a Canada, Maryland Death Fest, Chicago, 3 times.
That's
I saw
man.
them.
Canada, Chicago, and Maryland Death Fest.
I got
Heavy
to see
Metal
it.
Maniac and Violence and Force. Every metal fan, if you call yourself a metal fan, you have to have those 2 records.
They played pretty much everything from those albums that you would want to hear, which is like the whole album. It was fucking great.
Fantastic.
Well,
I got to see him back in the day at Capitol Theater warming up Merciful Fate and Motorhead.
Wow, what a show. Holy cow.
Man.
You weren't old enough to go, Scow.
I
Wow.
know, I was like this big.
What year was that?
83.
Yeah, something like that.
How's that one feel, Butch?
It hurts, Sid. It hurts. Trust me. That's why I do it to you, because people can still do it to me.
I don't have many on Butch, and Butch has seen some things that I'd like to saw back in the
Oh,
day.
man, but to see Exciter back in the day, oh man,
They're still great live. If you get a chance.
I would
Oh, I
love to see
saw them
them.
4 times. They played at the Bell House in Brooklyn. 4 times. I lied. Yep, 4 times. Fucking great. They played with Riot and the Rods and Brokus Helm and Niflheim from Sweden.
Brokest Helm and Niflheim?
Yeah, that was a sick show.
Well, Pete, go ahead. You got nothing left.
I know. I have hardly anything.
I'm thinking, there's somebody that should be left here. I'm thinking.
There are a couple. There are
I
a
didn't pick it because I thought.
Oh,
everybody
and you know
else
what? Hold on. Let me add one more honorable mention just to ruin this for Pete, because I meant to. I didn't write it down. I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember it, and we started talking. And of course, I forgot. So to his shirt, Bebop Deluxe, because we said this before. I have because I told you before. I
it's
love
on his list.
Bill Nelson from Bebop Deluxe is a phenomenal guitar player that no one ever talks about. And our joke before this, we got on this call for real, I was telling Pete that John Sykes in an interview in like 83 or 84, he talked about Bill Nelson. And he was the reason that I went and listened to Bebop Deluxe, because Sykes talked about Bill Nelson. And I went and listened. The music is completely different than what I expected at that time. But that guy, as a vocalist and a guitar player, he's just brilliant. And I love that fucking band.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete.
Yeah. Thank
No,
you.
he's not. He's not sorry, Pete.
And this
No, I'm
whole
not.
show is just everybody like screwing Pete over. Like he invites
Yeah,
us
well,
all
I
to
mean,
his
I'm glad I
show.
put
Yeah,
together.
without the
It's
fucking
like-
loop. Sorry, Pete.
So here are the ones that I had on my list that I'm no longer going to. That's the fun thing about going last, is like, because I always like to pick stuff that people hadn't already picked. So I always come with a really big list. Today was a challenge because you guys picked almost every single one on this list. So Marriott, gone. Glenn Hughes, gone. Tommy Shaw, gone. Frank Marino, gone. Geddy Lee, gone. Michael Ackerfeld, gone. John Sykes, gone. Richie Kotzen, gone. Bill Nelson, gone. Dave Minichetti, gone. You want to hear who's left? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm in shock that Butch didn't pick. This is the one that I knew Steve Marriott was coming. I thought he was going to pick this one. Pat Travers.
Oof.
What the fuck? How did I not think of that?
I didn't even think about him. You're right.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's a great choice. Holy shit.
Incredible guitar
Yes.
player.
Wow.
That's fucking
He's
good.
on my list. Steve Walsh from Kansas,
Oh, yeah.
keyboard player
Good
and
man.
amazing.
Oh, my God.
All right,
Amazing.
here's one you're not going to see coming. Kim Mitchell from Max Webster.
Oh,
I saw him once. I saw Max Webster once.
I don't even know who it is. So
Might as well go for Soda. You know that song. I know you know that song. They play on
Yeah.
keyboard all the time.
I think I saw him open up for Rush once.
Yeah, they open up for Rush.
Yeah, that's when I
I
saw
don't
him.
remember anything else from that.
Who else? Steve Lukather
Oh,
holy shit.
on my list. Tom Kiefer from Cinderella.
yes. Damn. How'd I forget that?
All right.
Oh,
And then I got a couple more. I'm just going to list all the ones that didn't get picked. Terry Kath, may he rest in peace, from Chicago. Amazing guitar player. Amazing.
I just thought of one. Let's see if you say. I just thought of one that nobody has mentioned that we all should have at least given honorable mention to, and I can't believe that no one has said it. So let me see if you go there.
All right. Well, I'll list my last couple here. Todd Rundgren.
yeah.
And my last one on my list, Greg Allman.
Okay, no one has said it.
Those are good choices.
I got
Right.
one. I don't know. I don't know how Jimi Hendrix isn't.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
I think it's just
thought you
because,
were not picking Butch, and that's why I hadn't written down. It's like somebody's gonna pick Jimmy.
yeah, I thought of it,
I
but then
didn't
also
because I don't
like-
think his vocals are that great.
I don't
No,
know. I
but
thought
the sing and play though, still.
Yeah, I thought of having him
Man.
on there. I really did. He was one of the first I thought of, but then I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, I love Jimmy.
Man.
Love him.
I mean,
I
Jimmy,
went for guys who I think have a little bit
Motorhead,
better
I mean,
voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just thought of one. Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
We all fucked up. We all fucked up.
Hey, Butch, you're fucking fired.
oh, that is.
God.
I would have thought
Oh,
he
my
Random
God.
fucking
I
alphabet.
mean, there's a lot of people you can pick here.
I know, but that seems so
I mean,
obvious.
That's so obvious. I'm just like, wait a second. Fucking
Oh,
ZZ
Yeah,
Top.
so, a
Yeah.
lot of Jimmy.
But shame on us for not thinking of Billy. Oh my God.
Holy
Either one of
shit,
them.
Yeah.
Ryan.
I even got a Jimi Hendrix poster behind me, so someone can see it.
Yeah, those
How
are
did I
some
not-
big-
I didn't even
think of those guys
write
either.
Billy down on any list at all. He
I
was
didn't
not
either.
even in my thought. Same thing with Travers.
That's terrible.
Wow.
I
All
didn't
right,
think
go
of
ahead and
it
kill
either
me in the
until
comments.
very
Holy
second.
shit.
I was also thinking of Don Henley, which, but I mean, he drummed and he sang.
Yeah, he
He
plays
drummed
everything.
and he sang. He
Yep.
drummed
Jerry
and he sang.
Jerry
And he
Garcia.
played guitar and he played keyboards.
And I bet you, and I should have gotten Chris's list, but I bet you Chris picked Kronos from Venom.
Oh, somebody should have grabbed this list.
I know, I thought it, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll add Pete along with Kronos and Venom. I'm going to add Tom G. Warrior. How the fuck did I forget him?
Yeah.
What the fuck? All right, well, we're all fired, especially me.
And that's why these lists pain me so much because you just said Billy Gibbons and he said Travers, and my night is completely ruined right now. I feel so
Oh.
bad.
Butch,
Yay!
Butch, even worse, we forgot Gary Moore.
Oh, Butch.
That's it.
Butch, you're
We're all
really
fired.
fucking fired.
I'm
You're
not even
really
gonna air
fired.
this. I'm not even gonna air this episode now because there
Please
is
don't. Holy
No Kronos, no At War with Satan, no Pat Travers.
uh,
It's like Full Metal Jacket. Pat Travers, don't get him.
Fucking fired.
I brought the Gary Moore guitar out and
I
I
didn't even
forgot
catch
about
that.
Gary
and I
Moore.
remarked on it, and I didn't even.
Must be too much of that bourbon
You
drinking.
know what
going
that
on.
is?
I swear
Karma
never-
for not letting me come over, fucker.
Steve,
Lynn,
Steve,
Lynn,
Bourbon distracted me more.
Lynn, you might
Stop.
agree with this one. Lindsey Buckingham too. I thought of.
Yeah,
Ah,
see, they're all
Great
fucked
guitar
up.
player.
Yeah.
Great guitar player.
Yep.
Who we
Man,
forgot is better than
How about
half the-
Christy McVie? She's good. She sings good. She plays keys.
Yeah,
How about
man.
Joan Jett?
I
yeah.
said her. She was on my honorable mentions.
yeah,
Did you say
And
that?
I got Gary Moore.
the Lynn's honorables.
Yeah, the no Gary Moore is
I'm distraught that I forgot Gary Moore.
I bet you someone's gonna come on and tell us that you missed about 10 other ones too.
Oh, go on, please
Oh, I
roast me
hate
on
that.
Gary Moore.
I can't
That-
believe you didn't mention this.
The Gary Moore is crushing. That's like a crushing
Oh, I
defeat. I don't know how I don't know.
Oh,
how
yeah,
I
they
forgot.
mentioned it at the end. It was mentioned.
We forgot
It's
Ann Wilson.
hard. You're sitting
Wilson?
there. You're sitting there and you're
Ann
trying to come up with the list. Like,
Ann Wilson, Butch's
Yeah.
girlfriend. It's
Greg
his
Lake,
Ann
John
Wilson.
Wetton.
No, it's Nancy Wilson. Nancy's my
Whatever.
girlfriend.
She's
Hey,
yours.
Greg Lake.
And
Greg
she did
Lake.
sing, and she did sing a number one hit for them too, but that doesn't really count to me.
yeah, I didn't. I thought of her, but
No,
I
we
was like,
we forgot some good ones. I mean, it happens. It happens.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
Pete.
you can only supposed to list 3.
Pete,
You
Vinny
did like
Kenton,
5 or whatever, but I mean, how do
Vinny,
you,
yeah.
you pick 100 of them, you know?
and Vortex from Brooklyn. We were talking about him.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Mike Strouch is watching this right now and shaking his head like, you jackass. How did you forget Gary? Oh my God.
That show's over.
But I have to
record
stand
time.
up. I have ADHD, man. I can't sit for too long.
We're
Oh, don't
diversified.
walk around.
We're
I
trying
gotta
to
get up.
Anyway, now that we're beating ourselves up for forgetting some pretty spectacular choices, hey, it happens. It happens. I want to thank everybody for watching and put down some of your favorite front men or ladies who also play a mean something else. And
Mean skin
feel-
flute. I mean,
feel free-
harmonica.
Geez.
When?
I was joking.
This lady's not even drinking or nothing.
Oh, she never drinks.
That's
I
it.
don't drink.
I
am
was a fan
fucking
of this
crazy
show.
Naturally, I was joking. It's a joke.
Can you
I was a
imagine
fan of
if
the
she's
show
not
until
drinking?
references to masturbation were made. Now
God.
I'm done. Cancel.
unsubscribe.
Unfollow.
Please
Unsubscribe.
subscribe to the channel.
It's an adult show. I apologize if I offended anyone.
I don't know if it's an
I'm
adult
not
show. There's no nudity. People thought I was naked because I had a Jeff.
Oh wait, you want
Oh,
nudity?
you had a flesh-colored shirt on that time.
Steve,
Hey,
you're
John,
not-
show.
Viewers, if they want nudity, are you really? You're going on.
Lynn, you know how many yeses you're going to get in the comments now after saying that?
I was kidding.
Okay.
Again, I'm a
Gentlemen,
god.
they like that.
Pete, do you know I said that guy's name? Remember his name? I kept saying it the whole episode. Chiquizo.
Yeah, I know.
I was joking around. Everyone's like, "You're saying his name wrong." No shit.
So we
Called a
got the
joke,
one-
fucker.
Scow's head is all ready for the pillow because the dog cleaned every inch of it during the episode.
And the dog is exhausted now. Look at that.
The dog's like, man, that should tire me
I
out.
missed a spot over the right eyebrow.
Note to self: if you want to go to bed early, go to Ryan's house and lick his face first.
I'm not touching that
You'll
one.
fall right to sleep.
Ryan, you're on your own, buddy.
that job's taken.
Leave our center square. Final thoughts of the evening.
I'm the center square tonight. What do we say? Pete Pardo's going to join me on my channel on Wednesday. We're going to talk about the Rolling Stones, and Lynn's coming along too that night, I believe.
Oh, you sure about that?
Why, you're not showing up now? You said you would.
No, I mean, your people might not like the F-bombs. I don't know.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and maybe swear words too. Happen on
All
my
right,
channel.
just making sure. Just making sure.
I can't.
And what do you got? What's Sydney got going on this week? Got any rock stars lined up? You got a whole bunch of rock stars lately on your podcast.
Yeah, I have some cool ones lined up. I like to keep some of them a surprise though, because
Okay.
it's nice. But I have somebody coming on from Megadeth, and some other cool bands. So I have 2 interviews this week, and yeah, there's a lot coming up. And shameless
Yay.
plug, because I'm wearing my merch. If you want Metal from the Inside merchandise, you can go to Season of Mist website, and you can buy it there. So
Sydney, send me the link after this. I want to buy some.
yeah, absolutely. It comes in like shirts and long sleeves and hoodies
Thank you.
and all that fun stuff. So if you
Yay.
want to get different styles and everything, it's available. And I'll even put it in the comments below if you guys would like to just direct link purchase it. So yeah.
Definitely.
Nice.
If nobody noticed, my Bad Reputation shirt with Robbo. The Robbo.
cover should have been.
Way the cover should have been.
Oh shit! Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Just rub his nipple. All I saw was Butch rub his nipple. All I saw.
Oh, the dog.
Oh my God.
Great album, Steve, that you put out.
Yeah, that's my plug of the week. Can't stop listening to this record, and it's the new Mood Spell Hermitage.
Awesome.
The freaking album. It
Incredible.
sounds as if they were writing about the times we're living in now. That's all, like the lyrics. It's not the heaviest record they ever put out, but it's just very well done. Very catchy, and it's just
And if
something.
you check out, if everybody wants to check out crypticrock.com, I interviewed him. I interviewed the singer, Fernando, for those who like
Yep.
that.
Nice.
Very cool. All right, Butch, how many folks we got over on the butcher shop these days?
We're over 1,800 now, getting close to $2,000. Getting there.
Yeah.
Come on in and
Nice.
have some fun with us.
A lot of discussion going on there about all sorts of hard rock and metal stuff.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, even stuff
They've
that
taken over.
But yeah. Never a dull moment over there at the butcher shop on Facebook. So
Yes, sir.
there we have it, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube.
All the damn time.
Right. So for Chris Aller, everybody keep Chris in your thoughts. For Sydney Taylor, Lynn Versace, Steve Keeler, Nick Franco, Ryan Scow, Butch Jones, I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you guys next Monday night. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.
Ciao.